looks like I'm going to go into the lunch hour. Do any of you need to have any plans to make phone calls or anything for lunch? I'm going to go into the lunch. Okay. So, first of all, thank you for your service. You have a tough job. We talked about this almost 7 weeks ago when we first met. You came in and filled out your questionnaires, and we talked about hardship and bias, and we talked about that this would be a difficult case. So you were asked if you could be fair and impartial, reserve judgment till the end, and we're getting close to the end. So you were asked to be patient and attentive while putting your job, your family, your life on hold. So again, thank you. And thanks to opposing counsel. We're small town lawyers. We're not from Boise. We see each other frequently. We have to get along because we have a lot of cases together. Our system is adversarial in nature. We're called opposing counsel, but we do respect each other, and we respect the positions and the jobs that we have to do. You've seen a lot of PowerPoints over the past month, and I'm sorry that I don't have one. So I'm just going to talk to you, if that's okay, and talk to you about the evidence and the arguments and the law. And my clients always ask me, why does the prosecutor start and end? So after I'm done, then the state gets to have another crack at it. And that's just because of their burden of proof, that the state has the burden of proof, so they get to go first and they get to go last. And so my clients always wonder, that's not fair. It's just our system. That's how it works. So, who is Lori Vallow? What happened? Where did it happen? When did it happen? Why did it happen? That's what you've been asked to figure out. And that's what you need to be convinced of beyond a reasonable doubt. So you've heard a bit about her background from her sister, her son, her friends. She was born in 1973 in California. She turns 50 next month. Raised there, dad, mom, brothers, sisters, attended schools there. Got married right out of high school, got divorced, went to beauty school, got married again in Texas. Her son Colby, who you met, born and raised in Texas and Arizona. She worked hard as a single mother. Got married and divorced again. And her third marriage was to Joe Ryan in Texas. Tylee was born. We've heard a lot about Tylee. She had some medical issues. Children needed protected from her third husband. So a divorce, court involvement, fourth marriage to Charles Vallow. Lived in Texas and Arizona and Hawaii. You've heard about that. Charles had 2 kids. Lori had 2 kids. So they adopted a child to have one together, and that was JJ. 5 kids between them. 5 kids forever. You heard what that was about. You heard that JJ had medical issues when he was born, and that Charles and Lori were a good fit for him, and they loved him and they cared for him. So then the story about Lori Vallow, as you've heard, changes dramatically in October of 2018. Who is Chad Daybell? This She had read some of his End of the World books. She knew about some of his sayings. The first time they met, he told her they were married in previous lives. They had multiple lives, multiple probations. We are archangels. We have other names like Methuselah and Raphael and James and Elena. We've been selected to lead 144,000. Our mission on earth is to prepare for the second coming of Jesus. Evil spirits are real. When they possess a body, they need to be cast out. People have light and dark ratings. And then she and Chad were married in the temple, and Jesus was there. So quite a remarkable change from the people who knew Lori. What the heck is going on? How can this be? So fast forward a year from October of 2018 to November of 2019, 1 year after meeting Chad. 4 people are dead. One of those deaths you don't consider as guilt for this case. It's really difficult for jurors to do. Wait a second, you told me that Charles was killed, but you don't want me to consider it for guilt. But for some other reason, what other reason is there? So the judge gave you an instruction about that, and that's difficult. That's difficult for lawyers to figure out. And so if you have questions about that, that's a tricky instruction. So 3 others are dead in Idaho. Lori's arrested first, as you heard the jail calls, and then Chad. So you've now heard about a summary of the indictment, what she's charged with. I talked to you weeks ago about pay attention to who does what. Pay attention to burden of proof, that I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to call a witness. My client doesn't have to testify. And you can't hold any of that against me. You can't hold it against her. Because sometimes that just happens in a trial. And so it's not for you to guess who or why, but to just consider the evidence that's been presented. So the judge has talked to you about what reasonable doubt means, what presumption of innocence means, and this is an important job that you have to do, and so again, I want to thank you for that. Pretty soon, 6 of you are going to get bumped, and that is terrible. To have to sit through a trial, there's 18 of you, and the judge is going to pick numbers out of a hat to see who stays and who goes, because only 12 can deliberate at once. And so I think the plan was that during a long trial, someone's going to get sick, someone's going to have issues at work or at home or a death in the family. Something's going to happen that some of you aren't going to show up. And all of you showed up, every single one of you. And that typically when we have so many alternates, there's a reason for that, is because over a long time, things happen at home. So